I think what it's like being a girl is that it's powerful, it's really rewarding, and it's full of possibilities, and in my experience, it's full of so much laughter, so.
It's funny, it's weird, it's hilarious, it's dirty.
I have always associated being a girl with a strange kind of power and strength. Our bodies can do things that we harness miracles. I chose to become a single mother using an anonymous donor, and it was probably the most miraculous and I'm going to say spiritual thing I've ever been through in my life.
It's right now, I think, really empowering. I work in an environment where there are strong, smart, powerful women all around me, and I get to learn from them, and I get to rely on them. I have right now a 10-year-old and a 12-year-old daughter, and they are really powerful human beings. And my goal as a mom is hopefully to show them what they're capable of, not just in what I've done so far in my career and education, but also the other experiences that I get to expose them to, but also the sense of contentment and satisfaction in whatever they do.
The words trustworthy and advocate and openness and honest come to the top of my list.
Leading isn't about the position that you hold. It's about listening. It's about encouraging and inspiring others to join your cause. You know, we always hear about work-life balance and can you have it all? And no, you can't. But when I'm at work, I'm doing everything I can to be the best employee, best attorney that I can be. And when I'm at home, I'm doing everything I can be to be the best mom, to be present, to be a good wife, and give everything I can in that moment.
Being a leader comes with a lot of responsibility, and when I'm a leader in situations, I try to lead with my actions aligned with my morals.
I am not a leader in a traditional sense. I don't have a team that reports to me. I'm not a manager. But I think that we all have a responsibility to lead, and it's in our attitude, it's in our actions, and it's also in what we don't say and the kind of energy we put out into the world.
I wish someone had told me that the day I graduated didn't define the rest of my life. One of the best gifts I was given was to have a little bit of a break where I temped after I graduated. I temped in the place that I worked part-time during college, and a position opened up. But in the meantime, while I was temping, I learned so much.
Failure's not the end. It stinks, and then it's an opportunity to do better, to try harder, to move in a different direction, and just keep going. It's an opportunity.
I wish I had known what the purpose of college was for me. So I actually took a break. I got my associates, had 4 kids, stayed at home with them when they were little, and then I tried to rejoin the workforce, and it didn't work. It wasn't something that was even worth not being with my kids for. And so I ended up going back to school after a really bad interview with a guy who asked me if I really thought I could do the job with 4 kids. And I was driven by that to go back to school, and have had so many opportunities beyond what he could have ever offered in that particular position. So I've learned that I'm not a different person or smarter because I have a degree, but I have more opportunities, and I've proven that I can work really hard and learn, continue to learn forever.
It took me a few years to figure this out after I graduated from college, but I wished I had more confidence in myself to pursue what I thought was best for my life instead of being so filled with other people's opinions that I couldn't figure out what actually made me happy and what was actually going to bring me joy in life. A lot of people wanted me to go abroad and wanted me to pursue a life that I thought that I wanted, but in reality, I looked at the life that I was building for myself here, and it was full of so much happiness, and I couldn't even imagine what my life would be like if I don't think that I would have nearly the same amount of support and love and friendship and family that I have in my life now if I had pursued what they wanted me to pursue, which was being a nanny in France instead of staying here. And yeah.
I am grateful for my village. There are a lot of people that allow me to succeed in my life, from my husband who does a lot of after-school pickups and cooking meals, to mentors in my career who have set me up for success, to the scholarships I received in school. I'm grateful for the strong women I had growing up. I had a mom who went back to school with 4 kids as a single mom who worked, and that was a really great example.
I feel like that I've grown up with a lot of really strong women around me, and I just feel eternally grateful for them. I don't think I'd be where I am today without them.
To not only have my family, my children, a great extended family, a mother who lives here in town and can support us, and so my children get to see their grandmother regularly.
I'm grateful for my family, for my education. I worked hard to go to school. Nobody can ever take that away from me.
I've had examples of women having to rely on themselves to be strong. I've had examples of women who have learned to reach out and support each other and then ask for support, which is really hard, but is a sign of strength. And talking again about mentors, I've had people who I can talk to about my fears and about sometimes maybe feeling like an imposter, even though my success is so earned. And just having people you can be a little vulnerable with.
My number one influence is my mom, and she's influenced me, through, obviously as a leader because she's my mom, but through her actions and leading through action, leading through example. That's that first experience of learning kindness and humility. Those lessons aren't just pointed out to you. You see that, you experience it time and time again, and it just becomes part of who you are.
The first 2 women that really made a significant impact were my mom and Audrey Hepburn, weirdly enough. My mom grew up motherless by the time she was 11, and so she really had to fend for herself. And she always taught me that no matter what life throws at you, you will always get through it. You just have to work hard and be nice to people, and you will always get through the hard things in life. And she actually introduced me to Audrey Hepburn when I was about 9 years old. We sat down and watched Breakfast at Tiffany's together, and I just threw myself into her life and reading about her. And Audrey Hepburn was an underground courier for Jewish people during World War II in Germany. And then after her acting career, she was a UNICEF ambassador. She would often be perceived as fragile, where in reality she was incredibly strong. She was a single mother for a lot of parts throughout most of her life, actually, and she grew up without a father. She, helped people when they were in need, even when she didn't have anything to give.
I think for the most part we do. There are a few exceptions, and there's a few exceptions with men too. I find that women tend to be very collaborative. So let's work together, let's figure out a solution, and then they just go and do it.
I'm just a few years out of college, but I've worked in places where women aren't necessarily very supportive, and I've worked in places where women are very supportive. And I think that it really comes from a cultural expectation of the workplace that you're in.
After I had my children, I suffered from severe postpartum depression, and it's like when people found that out, and I'm pretty much an open book, the number of women who came into my office, shut the door, and said, I know what you're going through. And if I can help, if there's anything I can do, if I can, just sit with the babies while you go do something for yourself, I think that was huge. And so for me, it's kind of a pay it forward when it comes to that.
I am really blessed to be in a workplace where women build each other up all the time. I know that's not the case everywhere, but where I work, everyone supports each other, and really it's those relationships that keep you focused and keep you connected to something greater than yourself.
There are so many choices out there, and to not worry, because I spent so much of my time in college worrying.
One of the best pieces of advice I got as a freshman student was find someone who knows you are here. And I did. Her name was Joanna. She was a friend of mine from a summer camp. We had managed to stay in touch without Facebook. And she was just someone I could go to and kind of ask those dumb questions like, can you just walk into the health center? How do you use the rec? Just really simple types of questions. I mean, the same's true in the workplace. Finding someone, I know there are a lot of official mentoring programs, and those take advantage of those opportunities, because it's a great way to sort of learn the culture of an organization.
The message I have for collegiate women is that life is so full of possibilities for you right now, and it's so bright, and you're gonna have an amazing time after you graduate, and you're gonna learn so much while you're still in school and after you graduate. And I just want you to remember one thing. This is something that I've learned, is that some days you're gonna have some challenging things thrown at your way, and you may feel like a failure, because do I need to restart? Okay, because I've been there. I've felt like a failure before, but like I said before, it's resilience and grit. You have to pick yourself up and keep on going, and just know that things will always be better.
I think it's really important to have a plan, but know that it's going to change and there's no timeline. But you've got to be content with where you're at in the moment. If you're not content, change it.